recently on Bleacher Report, somebody was doing a video. You know how sometimes videos come in the middle of Bleacher Report, and it was a list of teams that are most prepared for future success in the NFL. And the top 3 teams were the Chiefs, the Lions, and the Texans. Now, how do you become a team that is prepared for the future? Well, you have young talent. That's the most important thing. And you have players in positions to take place of those who maybe you can't pay. Here's the deal. The Lions have a ton of talent. They do. There's just really no way to get around it. And eventually you're not going to be able to pay every single one of them. When you look at all the players that are coming up that are talented on this team, you can't pay them all. They just handed the bag to St. Brown. They handed not a bigger bag, but they handed another bag to Penei Sewell. I think Penei actually had more guaranteed money than Amon-Ra. So you hand that over to them, and you realize, like, man, they got a lot going on. So on Lions Wire, there are 53 players. I'm sorry, I said 53. I meant 23 players who will be unrestricted free agents after the 2024 season. So after this year. And it has made the Detroit Lions draft, what they just did, and we can even look into last year's draft, it has made it so much more clear to me. All right, so let's go through and do this exercise of why the Lions are set up for success, and maybe even do a little look to the future on a couple positions on what that could look like. All right, first is quarterback Jared Goff. Last year, we drafted Hendon Hooker. We needed to make sure we at least had some insurance there. I still think a deal with Goff gets done. That is like just the very obvious one. But am I the only one who just can't quite get over the fact that he hasn't signed yet? Like, the entire world is chanting Jared Goff in the state of Michigan, right? Everybody loves this guy. He has won over the fan base. He is elite when he has time, but everybody keeps talking about, can you win a Super Bowl with him? And the Lions have yet to pay him that big money. There's some hesitation there. I don't know what it is. I can't put my finger on it, but they're not there yet. All right, Taylor Decker. All right, so when we look at that, we realize, okay, well, in the 4th round, we traded up, gave up a 3rd-round pick next year, by the way, to get Giovanni Manu. All right, offensive lineman out of British Columbia, just an absolute mountain of a human being. And by the way, a guy that is absolutely loaded, and I mean loaded with potential. This is a 2-year project, maybe 3, maybe 1. All right, but at least you're looking at the future of as Taylor Decker starts to get older, and they're already talking about, hey, maybe we can put him, put him at guard at first. Yeah, 6'8" guard, right? And put him at guard at first. All right, next player. So far, we spent a 3rd rounder last year. Goff is up after this year. We spent a 4th rounder this year, and we have a tackle going. What about the next position? The next big player going is Carlton Davis. So he's the corner that we traded a 2nd-round pick. Was it a 3rd? I don't know. I think it was a 2nd. Might have been a 3rd in order to get him. And you're like, all right, but he's an unrestricted free agent next year. So what did the team do? They went out and drafted not 1, but 2 corners with the first 2 picks. You get Terrion Arnold and Enos Rakestraw. And what I love about this, I just want to talk about our cornerback room and how it has completely evolved. I'll probably do another video about this at some point over the off season. We went from, there's some talent there with, Mosley, and you've got Sutton. And then, all right, so Branch might come in, play safety, but what are they going to do with C.J. Gardner-Johnson? And then you got UDFA, Jerry Jacobs back there, and then a bunch, it was nothing. And it was like nobody is the future of the cornerback room. Nobody's the future. You just have a bunch of guys that can be okay right now. And then you get Carlton Davis, and you're like, yeah, same, but probably only another 2-3 years of effectiveness with this guy. Then you go out and you draft Terrion Arnold, arguably the best corner in the draft. Only time will tell, right? And then the Lions' number 2 rated corner, Enos Rakestraw, which means that they had him rated ahead of Quinyon Mitchell, just in case anyone's wondering, out of Toledo. So that's what we have in the beginning there. All right, let's see who else there is. We signed kind of a one-year prove-it deal to Marcus Davenport, who will be an unrestricted free agent after this year. There's defensive ends that we've drafted all over the place, whether you're talking about Pascal, whether you're talking about James Houston, whether you're talking about Aiden Hutchinson. All right, so that's fine. Guard Kevin Zeitler. Okay, well, like I said, Giovanni Manu is going to be a possibility to be guard there. But also in the 6th round, we went and picked up Christian Mahogany out of Boston College. All right, I think he is going to be a good player that's going to end up probably being a starting guard in this league. I really do. And then our UDFA class, we picked up not one but 3 centers. So interior offensive linemen, we're working toward that. Defensive end John Kaminsky is another player. Now we're getting in, like, that's okay, he can go. Right? Like, we love Kaminsky. He's had one great year, and then last year was okay. But we love him, but he's not a guy you need to immediately replace. Again, Emmanuel Mosley, right? Corner. We drafted him. It's okay. So here's what I'm looking at with all this. Defensive tackle, Levi and Wuzurike. And the way this article put things into perspective was the most important ones down to the least important ones. Defensive tackle, Levi and Wuzurike. All right, he's there. So what do? We went and got Mekhi Wingo. Round 6, absolute steal. Did a video on him yesterday. Absolute steal at that position. Love, love, love what he can do. So Khalil Dorsey, Donovan Peoples-Jones at wide receiver. We didn't do anything at wide receiver. More corners. You see how the whole cornerback room we essentially overhauled in one draft. Kicker, Michael Badgley. We brought in UDFA Turner from U of M to compete at the kicker spot. Aleem McNeil. All right. We have Reeder. We have Wingo that we brought in, but McNeil will probably stay, and somebody's going to have to play next to him. Sudfeld, and now we get to the place. And then safety, Ifeatu Melifonwu. That's the one. So here's basically what I'm saying. There's a lot of talent that we're going to have to pay next year. So don't expect next year's free agency to be this crazy spending spree and go out and have a ton of fun with it. Expect it to be a lot of, man, that guy's really good for us. We need him back. And I think Iffy's going to be one of those guys. And that's one of those beautiful things. I think Iffy, I want to say he was like a 3rd-round pick. We brought him in. He was not great his first year or even his second year. But his 3rd year, last year, he broke out. They got him in the right position at safety. And now all of a sudden you're like, this guy is going to be a high-quality starter at safety for years to come. And so you realize that, and it's like, all right, let's do this. It's an absolute blast to see what this coaching regime can do and to get, like, just, how do I want to put it, great value out of their players while they're still young in their contracts. And I absolutely love that. So you see a couple things, and the writing's on the wall. All right, they're trying to take care of the tackle position because they know Decker can't play forever. They just do. They're trying to take care. There's even little other ones that, like, it directly correlates. Long snapper Scott Daly's gone after this year, right? Not gone, but he's an unrestricted free agent. They brought in Hatton, a long snapper. All right, from Idaho, who's the 3rd most athletic long snapper to ever do it, based on RAS. Why not bring him in, see what he can do, right? Like, it's just kind of crazy to me. Craig Reynolds, all right, they bring in Sione Vaki, all right, because Craig Reynolds is getting up there in age for a running back, and Vaki probably can do all the things Reynolds can do, plus a little bit more. And Vaki also is going to be that special teams guy. So you can see when you look a year down the line, you can kind of see what the Lions are doing. I understand we draft for talent. And sometimes it's really nice when talent and need match up. And they matched up at pick 61 with Enos Rakestraw, but they made it match up by trading up in the 1st round to get their guy. And they traded up for Manu, and they traded up for Vaki. So, like, yeah, they get talent. And what Brad Holmes has said, I'm going to draft the best player available, but I'm willing to move in order to get him. That is what the Lions and Brad Holmes have started to do. Sometimes it can be almost borderline. It really can be almost borderline. But at the same time, we have to understand that he's going to get his man, and we need to learn to trust in him, and he's building for the future. That's why we're the second team. The only reason we're not number one and the Chiefs are number one is because they have Patrick Mahomes for the next decade. That therefore built for the future. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe. We're really close to 20,000. We'd love to hit it. Do a celebration video, something like that. All right. Thank you so much. See ya.